Okay, I do hereby call this May City Council meeting to order and ask for roll.
Councilmember Kevin Reed.
Present.
Councilmember Alex McCready.
Here.
President Jennifer Harrington.
Here.
Mayor Pat Stivers.
Here.
Councilmember Jeff Hombaugh.
Here.
Councilmember Dr. David Watt.
Here.
And we do have a quorum.
Great. We could all rise for Pledge of Allegiance in a moment of silence. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You may be seated. Item 4 is the approval of agenda. Any change from staff? Any change from council? If not, I would entertain a motion.
I would move that we approve the agenda as presented.
Second.
Got a motion and a second to approve the agenda. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item 5 is stormwater. MS4, we got a public hearing. So let's have a public hearing on stormwater.
Do you need to officially open the public meeting? Or?
Yes, we do. Do hereby call that we open the meeting. I'm not sure the proper method for that. But so I just opened it. Let's do it.
Hello, Mayor and Council. I've done this for several years now, but the purpose of me being here tonight is to earn points for our city's MS4 stormwater permit. For the 6 minimum control measures within the permit, we can obtain some of these points by holding a public meeting to discuss stormwater topics. The purpose of this report tonight is to notify the public of our city's stormwater activities, to solicit any public comments, and educate the public about illicit discharges and recommend alternative methods of disposal. Last year in 2024, we issued 617 notices for stormwater code violations, and 53 of those were turned over to a contractor for noncompliance. These violations are such as erosion control or catch basin inlet protection. So far this year, we've included information on our bulk waste coupon in our Maize Highlights newsletter and our quarterly Facebook stormwater posts on our city's Facebook page. In addition, our Public Works Department has continued street sweeping throughout the city and cleaning debris that impedes drainage into the stormwater catch basins. As everybody knows, in June, the city of Maize experienced 2 significant rainfall events, each totaling 4 and 5 inches of rainfall. With these events, unfortunately, caused significant impacts to homeowners in certain parts of the city. They allowed us to observe areas where we need to focus on making improvements to alleviate future damage as best we can. In a recent council meeting, I demonstrated some mapping software where we can track these focus areas and better prioritize some of our future funding dollars and where they should be spent. These projects and needed improvements don't come with small price tags. That's why by cataloging some of these concerning areas with software, we'll be able to better identify projects and improvements necessary for the well-being and safety of our residents. This software will help us in the future to potentially develop a stormwater utility fee to collect revenues to be able to address these areas of need. In July, our stormwater pump station near the Fieldstone Apartments, we worked there to remove quite a bit of sediment and debris, and we're currently experiencing some issues with that lift station electronics that control the pump. We don't often think about what sort of impact our everyday household chores can have on the environment. Activities such as changing the oil in your car, fertilizing your lawn, or cleaning around the house could affect the environment in a negative way. These are just a few examples, but it's easy to do your part to ensure proper application and disposal of chemicals when doing these types of activities. Improper disposal of chemicals could impact the waters and wildlife downstream. Be sure to check the label of any chemicals you use to ensure proper disposal. Our city website has a link on its stormwater page to the Sedgwick County Recycling Guide, as well as their household hazardous waste facility, which any resident in the Sedgwick County can drop off unused household hazardous waste free of charge. The city has not identified taking complaints of any illicit stormwater discharges so far this year. I'd be happy to answer any comments or questions. Yes, ma'am.
How many homes or people were impacted by this that you were referencing?
To the best of our knowledge, when I was referencing homes that were impacted, was homes that actually got rainwater into their homes. And to the best of my knowledge, there were 3 or 4.
Out of how many homes?
Out of how many homes in the whole city? Almost 3,000 residences.
You said you had 617 notices, 53 of those were contractor related?
53 of those were violations that they didn't address the violation. So therefore they were non-compliant. And so we pay for a contractor to go install erosion BMPs at the job site.
Charge back whoever
Correct.
the responsible party was. Okay.
So that ratio has actually improved quite a bit over the last few years. I don't know off the top of my head, but I would venture to guess that it's most of them.
Is there a fine in addition to the cost of the erosion control installation?
I don't know if we charge like an administrative fee, Sue, on top of those, or we do.
Yes, we do that. Administrative is
20%.
whatever charges.
So dumping concrete around when they clean out the trucks, is that considered?
Yep, that's one violation. Or typically it's where they're in charge of keeping the mud from running over the curb when it rains.
Correct.
And if it does, they're supposed to clean it back up. And so that's typically the violation, that we hire a contractor to clean up the mud and install those straw bale BMPs on the job site. Thank you.
I know you try to work with all the new contractors and everybody that's going in, but I assume you have certain ones that seem to be habitual about that, and I assume we know who those are. And I assume it's Jeff that's the one out doing all this.
Yes.
Okay, so we're actively going after and looking for these folks during these new construction things, right?
Mm-hmm. I believe it's after a 1/4 inch of rain, Jeff goes out and does his stormwater inspections. Thank you.
So, yes. Any other input? Yes, does anybody else want to discuss stormwater?
The administrative fee, does that seem in line with what it should be?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
if we
it
have,
really does. And it can get pretty hefty depending on the fees, you know.
Yeah.
If they have 8 to 10 houses, there, you know, it might be 300 or 400 feet. They charge by foot.
Mhm.
So yes, yeah. I mean, that helps pay for Jeff's cost of going out, our administrative cost of, you know, putting it all together.
Sure. Yeah, I just didn't know how much time we spent tracking that stuff down and if it was enough or not.
Yeah, it is. It
Okay.
is. I feel it.
If there's nothing else, I would like to close the public hearing. Is that correct, Nick? Am I good? Okay. Item number 6, we are going to public comments. So at this time, Mr. Allen, how you doing? I haven't talked to you in almost a week. It's all right. Come on up. You could state your name and address, and it says here you got a ditch question, so we
Yeah,
got.
it's just really quick. My name is Chris Allen. Thank you for letting me come up, council and mayor. I don't live by the ditch, but our HOA is pushing this issue, and I just wanted to know if this is where it came from and what the actual policy is, but we live off Tyler, and they're stating that from the back of your property on Tyler to the road of Tyler, that the resident is responsible for mowing that and everything and taking care of that. Is that correct?
all of that grass area and keep it mowed down. There are some areas that we selectively have tried to pick up just to kind of make sure the community, it's maintained to a certain level, but for the most part, it's going to be the adjacent property owner that's responsible for cleaning that up, for keeping it mowed and vegetation down.
Okay, the people that didn't want to come tonight, their question was, it's not their property. Why are they, because if something happens, like, let's say the question was, if a rock comes flying out of their mower and hits somebody's car, now they're responsible for something that they shouldn't have even been doing in their eyes.
It's just it's fairly common for every community. Most people have right of way in their yard. Believe it or not, a lot of that section in the front of your yard is part of the city right of way.
Sure.
And it's just the way that it's handled. I mean, if we had, typically you have these areas that are going to be your reserve areas, and those are a lot of times maintained by the homeowner association, but in the right-of-way sections, it's not uncommon to have the adjacent property owner that's responsible to take care of it, because it would be quite expensive to maintain all of those areas if the city did it.
Okay, and if we had a sidewalk, which we don't, what happens if the sidewalk gets, and not by the property owner, but let's say it bows up like some of them do or whatever, is that the city responsibility? Or
As a general rule, it's your responsibility to maintain the sidewalk as it goes by your house, even though it is typically going to be in the right of way. So, depending on how different communities face it, it's possible that, like in the community I was in last, we actually had a grant program where the city would help pay to repair sidewalks. We don't have that yet, but it's something that we've had some discussions about into the future, is how do we take care of that? We took care when we had 10-foot sidewalks in that community, we'd maintain the 10-foot sidewalks, but the 5-foot sidewalks would be the responsibility of adjacent property owners. So if there was a significant increased size sidewalk, the city might take care of those areas. But once again, if you had to maintain every single sidewalk area, that would be quite expensive.
okay, that was my question. Thanks, and thank you for calling me back the other day. Great information, and
Good
I
talk.
appreciate y'all.
All right,
lot.
thank you, sir.
Thanks. Y'all have a good night.
You keep coming, we're going to put you on the planning commission. We all have jobs. All right. Mary. Sorry. I can't read your last name. What is it?
That's Nicholson.
Nicholson. Oh, yeah. Hey.
Yeah. We're kind of notorious in this town.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah,
You
just,
got a rep.
Huh?
You have a little bit of a reputation. A good
I
one.
do.
Yes.
Thank you. We are known primarily for our watermelons. If you
Yes.
ever had a watermelon, it was probably a Nicholson in this area.
That's correct.
My concern is my flowers, and I'm sorry about my phone. I tried to turn it off, but I'm not a tech person, so I don't know how. Anyway, my concern is my flowers, that I maintain my easement, and it is my responsibility to maintain my easement from the sidewalk to the street. But because I have asthma and I have other numerous health problems now due to COVID and what have you, I've maintained my easement with flowers. And I've tried to keep them at a minimal, but sometimes God plants something there that I have no control over. And it always seems like they come up in the middle of August, in the hottest part of the year, and want me to go out and do something with my flowers. So, and I have good drainage out front. The flowers have been there for 30-some years. And I've lived there off and on. I've lived out the family farm for a while. Then I've moved back to town. And I've been there for several years now. And that's how I've maintained my property. And I would like to either have a grandfather clause to let me grow my flowers out there. That's my passion. That's my life. I even work in a greenhouse. I've been there for 30-some years. So yeah, this is something that I know how to do. I know how to maintain. I do my very best. But sometimes I can't get out there because I have a pacemaker now and different things. So, but I do the best I can.
Are you the property right there on the corner?
Yes,
That's
at
what I thought.
101 South Park.
Yeah, okay.
And it's a corner lot, so I wrap around.
You got flowers all over the place.
Yeah. But that's because I can't do the grass. I tried to maintain grass when we first moved there, but I ended up at the hospital almost every time I mowed. I have to go in the house even when my neighbors mow. I can't be out there.
So what are you looking to do? You want to grandfather in what? What do you want us to take care of that? Or?
No.
Okay.
I want to take care of it.
Okay.
I'm very capable of taking
All
care of
right.
it. I just want to stop the harassment.
Oh, you're getting harassed?
Yeah,
Oh.
every year.
Oh.
They came up just last week and told me I had 21 days to cut my flowers down. But at this time of year, if you cut these particular flowers, you will kill them.
Huh.
And they're black-eyed Susans. They're very pretty. And I paid to plant them there. I bought the plants and I planted them.
Okay. First I've heard of it.
Or make some kind of referendum that, because
Well-
I've been told it affects the aesthetic, but I've also been told that they want green grass everywhere, but I can't do grass. That's just not my capability.
Well, we can certainly talk to the staff and see what's going on. And
I know the ladies that comes to the post office, they've always commented that we love looking up at your yard. So, and I've had numerous people, almost every time I'm out working in my yard, I have people stop and the cars that are lined up, picking up kids, people get out of their cars and come up to me and tell me how much they like my flowers and how appreciative they are of my flowers and the time that I take to take care of them.
well, let's, we've got your information.
Okay.
Let's discuss it a little bit, I guess, and
I'll talk with Chief.
yeah, we'll get in touch with you, okay?
And we'll get you some pictures.
Yep.
And I've got pictures on my phone.
Okay.
If you need to see them, I've got pictures. I cut down some of the flowers yesterday, but as I cut them, I could see that the new plants are not coming up because they're not going to be fed. And that's how you reproduce your flowers. You have to leave those blooms on. And I do cut the blooms off when they're totally done blooming. 'Cause I don't like the looks of them when they're just sitting there, little black pods.
Right.
But it is food for the birds too.
Okay.
And I'm a big believer in, I have a lot of butterfly bushes and stuff for the monarchs. And I try to take care of what I can.
All right.
Thank you very much for
Thank
your
you.
time.
Thanks for coming,
You're welcome.
Michael. How you doing?
Mayor, council,
Taxes.
thanks for letting me speak.
Taxes. Okay, we're done with that.
Anyway, my name is Mike Slesser. I live at 3837 Brush Creek. First, I'll say I'm really happy with the service that the city provides. Things are good. But just like everybody else, I got my notice of property taxes this week. I don't know if anybody else looks at these things. I just happened to this week.
We all got them too.
Well, so the city's portion of my taxes goes up 12.5%, but the city's looking for, that doesn't sound right. I didn't think so either.
Go ahead.
Anyway, and the city is looking for an additional 20% in revenue. This sounds like a big ask. And anytime anything, we buy goes up, 20 or 12 or even 10%, we take a close look at it and say, what are we getting for this? And so I just think it's a pretty big step, and I wish you'd take another look at it.
Well, I don't know if you want to answer to some of that. I mean, yeah, where's that coming from?
The city's portion of the property tax revenue will be up by 20%.
Based upon
That's
your-
Sedgwick County property tax. which we have nothing to
No,
do
that's
with.
the city.
We haven't raised our taxes, our mill levy in
No.
20 years.
The valuation that's gone up.
Well, again, that's Sedgwick County.
That's Sedgwick County.
Your appraised value went up 65,000, fairly significant.
Wow.
Yeah.
I would be fighting that
I get it.
with Sedgwick County. And they
Yeah.
said no.
What do you think?
It has to do with the increase in the appraisal of the property, and that's where it really comes down to it. There were significant increases in a lot of those, and
Yeah.
does that take into consideration? Give me a call. We'll dissect this. And I can get a copy of it, and we can talk through that.
Good, thank you. Okay. I would say one other thing. This is as far as efficiency. A couple of months ago, our street got resealed, the asphalt, right? So truck came, put the sealant on, put some sand down, everything else, right? A lot of overspray on the curbing. Okay, a month later, the overspray was all gone. So I don't know if anything stayed on the asphalt or not. I just thought maybe somebody wants to look at
You're
that.
talking about 45th Street?
Pardon?
You're talking about 45th Street?
No, Brush Creek, the residential street.
We did a reclamite process over there.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's a preventative sealant for the asphalt surface. There likely is overspray on the concrete, but the treatment is for the asphalt. And so what you're seeing is an outlet.
Okay, I noticed it was all gone, so I go, well,
Yeah.
did anything stay on the asphalt? All right, thank you very much.
The light oils go back into the asphalt, and so that's really the process. So you're not going to see age. The whole idea is that your street basically stays the same when it's done, but we're putting the oil back in to help with it being maintained properly so that it doesn't age.
Okay,
Still going to crack seal it and stuff, but as far as that oil is concerned, it dissipates into the asphalt. And as far as it being on the concrete, it's not going to get into concrete. So it just kind of goes.
Okay.
The sand that's put on it kind of sucks up the excess stuff.
fair enough. All right,
I'm going to have her grab a business card. You can just give me a call, and we'll take a look at everything and kind of see where we're at.
thank you very much.
Yeah, we've all had that similar situation where unfortunately Sedgwick County it's unfortunate.
Raising our house
All right.
value.
What's that?
Raising our house
Yeah,
value.
they're all going up. So
Does anybody ever come out and look at a property? Because they didn't even have ours listed properly as far as bedrooms.
Oh.
And they just denied it.
I don't know if they'll come out or not if you protest what they do or don't do. I don't know.
They supposedly come out and do a review when they
Yeah.
increase valuations. So there's a whole set of
I mean, there's-
steps they have to
I
do.
wish I could say there's a rhyme or reason. We had a business on 53rd Street, two buildings. One of them went down in value, the other one went up 80%. And it's the same square footage. This owned by the same guy. We don't know. And we never really got too far with that, as I recall, did we? A little bit. So,
We wrote a letter on their behalf,
Yeah.
and that's what we did.
But no change.
sometimes they do, but most times they don't. But it's not the city of Maize, it's Sedgwick County. So,
Typically, when you file an appeal, it goes through the appraiser's office, and then if you don't have that appeal, you can always appeal through the Board of Tax Appeals at the state of Kansas level. So
You could also reach out to your Sedgwick County Commissioner, and they will try to help on your behalf a little bit if they can. So one of them lives here. Where's Stephanie live? She lived out in Goddard or something. But anyway, there you go. Good. All right. Thank you. Moving on to item number 7 is the consent agenda.
I would move that we approve the consent agenda as presented.
I'll second that.
I got a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda as presented. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item 8 is business. I don't see anything under business. We're good? Yes? Which brings us to reports. It's a quick meeting. Chief, how you doing?
Mayor, Council, I have no additions to my monthly report, but I will stand for any questions you may have.
Or are we all fully staffed yet?
We were fully staffed until Friday. One of our SROs took a position with another school district as an SRO. And so we have one opening at the moment, and we have 2 recruits in the academy. I got a report on them. They're doing well. They're scheduled to graduate on October 3rd.
About the garage crime, how's that coming along?
The garage crime,
Yeah,
people checking car doors.
Yeah,
We've seen a decrease in that. We are following up a case from the weekend where we identified some people committing identity theft. We put an informational bulletin out, and third shift was able to locate the car and arrest 2 individuals. That's going to clear 9 cases. And then there is a lot of evidence to go through, but it's going to clear a lot more cases as well.
Good.
Great report, by the way.
Thank you, sir.
And I'm sorry to see that, unfortunately, your total calls have gone up
Mhm.
quite a bit. Year to date, I assume this is year to date.
Yes, on the second page, year to date.
In 2024, you're at 3,385, and so far this year at 4,087.
Mhm.
So that's unfortunate.
And our case reports are up as well.
Yeah. So 9/11 camp's over with. That went well, I assume. Was that full?
I'm sorry?
Was the 9/11 camps, were those full?
The first one was full, and the second one, we were short 5 kids.
Okay,
But we got good reports all the way around from the camp.
great. Okay. Anything else, guys? If not, thanks.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Public?
Evening again, Mayor and Council. I don't believe I have anything to add to my report tonight, but I'd be happy to answer any questions you have for me.
I just wanted to say 45th Street looks nice.
I think it looks really good.
That's a chip seal with, is that a
Scrub seal. on the
scrub
fog
seal
seal.
over the top, just like we did on 119th?
And on 37th Street
Yeah,
last year.
and then Sillicin came in and they striped it.
Road safe.
Road Safe did this time? Okay.
Road safe.
All right, okay. And then I noticed, I took some pictures of the guys out getting the crosswalks ready, so
Today
we
was
put that
first
on
day.
social media. That looks good.
Today's first day of school.
Yep, it was. So I appreciate that you guys did that.
It's try to keep everything safe as we can.
That surface treatment, I know on Maize Road, one of these days, I mean, normally what we would do is we would mill that down and then overlay it. I don't know if that's an option or not. I guess something just thinking
Yeah,
outside the
I mean,
box. Is that something we could think of doing down the road?
For sure. Yeah.
Be a
I think-
heck of a lot less expensive.
Yeah, I think especially with the new CIP that we've got, we'll be able to plan for that really well. I think Maize Road will be a really good candidate for a microsurface
Yeah.
kind of a treatment.
Yeah.
Not necessarily a 2-inch mill and overlay, but given the base stability of it, there's really not a lot of base issues. It's got some thermal cracking, but
Well, what we should probably do instead of using mastic on those thermal cracks is we should actually mill that out and, have somebody like Kansas Paving come in and repack that and do it that way.
full depth repair on those
Yeah,
thermal
yeah,
cracks.
Yeah. And then, and crack seal it and then do that.
We're toying with whether or not we'll have to restripe everything again before we
You're probably going to have to. Well,
resurface it.
I don't know. That's a lot of money. I would almost.
It is a lot of
hold off on
money.
that. So, but that's up to you.
Nick, a couple of really quick things. The wastewater treatment facility, the pre-application for the state revolving fund,
Mhm.
that sounds good.
Yeah,
So is that no guarantee or anything, but it's within range of it could be eligible?
So the way the process works is we had to submit a pre-application to KDHE before the middle of July. And so then they take all the pre-applications they get from every project in the state, and then they decide how much money that they're going to get from the EPA and how much state money they have. And they basically draw a funding line on they rank all the projects, and then they draw a line where they're going to fund. And so we were above that threshold for their fiscal year 2026. So now we have to put in a full loan application, and that's due October 15th. So we're working through that. But typically you get funded for these, and it's not a grant, it's a loan. So the
A no interest loan or?
it's Nick or Elizabeth could speak better to it, but it's a certain percentage below the typical bond
It's
rate.
typically lower than a normal bond,
Gotcha.
but there's some pros and cons to it. We're subject, because it's federal money that goes through, we are subject to some of the federal requirements. We did some analysis, working with Larry Kleeman, our financial advisor, to find out, is it still worthwhile for us to consider going through, considering there's some American steel requirements that are tied in with that. If there were, I don't, in talking with the gal from KDHE, we may or may not be subject to Buy America, Build America. It kind of depends on how that comes down, where their cut line is up. But typically they use those for other projects that also have grant funds, federal grant funds, and they'll usually include those in there. So we'll still have some requirements that raise the cost, but as a general rule, over the long term, when we're looking at doing 20-year on this one, it is cheaper than a conventional geo bond or revenue bond.
And it's the method we funded the last two expansions of that project.
We also applied on the water side and weren't successful this year, but
Or not.
no, we were not. So
The water side of the program has a lot more projects that a lot smaller systems that are harder to stay in compliance. They typically help those systems out before they help systems like ours out.
And I'm also curious too, there was a note in here about a WAMPO grant on new pedestrian safety technology. What does that mean?
So the way I understand it, WAMPO got a grant for, I think it was around $1 million, but the way they're going to split those funds up is they've identified a certain amount of money for each community within the WAMPO pool of cities. And what it is a opportunity for us to demonstrate new pedestrian safety, maybe technologies or things like that, such as hawk signals or the LED signals that we have. We're working to identify something new that we want to try that we haven't seen in the city. So I'm working with the chief and Nick to try to find some sort of pedestrian technology that we want to demonstrate, that they'll pay up to $15,000 for us to try something. So
it's typically not something permanent. So it's something you can test, and like you can bring in temporary equipment to test something. And if you make a determination that it's made a major safety impact,
we could set up a hawk signal, and they'll actually track how much it was used and give us a report.
What's a hawk signal?
A hawk signal is like the pedestrian safety signal, like the one I always go back to is the one on Central, just east of Bishop Carroll, where it has the safety thing in the median, where I'm sorry, Chief, you always have a good word for it.
Hawk signal is different than your typical crossing lights, which are amber. It will actually be a directional light that will start blinking when somebody's entering the crosswalk. It will turn the traffic lights to red, showing that you have to stop. And then after a certain amount of time that allows the pedestrian to cross, it will start flashing amber again.
Gotcha.
And then go to green.
It's like what across Ridge Road by the 4-H building there.
Yeah, Sedgwick County Park, yeah.
Yep, got it.
Also like to say thank you for the sod that you installed at the park.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Turned out really well.
Yep.
It was some hot hot, rough work out there for those guys, but.
Watering the heck out of it, I assume. Good.
Mhm.
With well water.
Yes.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Oh, boy. Anything else, guys? If not, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Planning and zoning.
Good evening, Mayor and council members. One of the things I wanted to bring to your attention is the wireless communication master plan that I placed before you this evening. The city doesn't currently have one in place. We've relied loosely on Sedgwick County, Wichita Sedgwick County's plan. And with wireless infrastructure likely in our near future, which it is, it's time we consider that whether or not we need one. And I say the answer is yes. Why this matters now is the technology evolves, demand for fast, reliable wireless service is growing, and cities need a clear strategic frameworks to guide how infrastructure developed and placed. We recommend adopting Wichita Sedgwick County Metropolitan Planning Department's wireless communication plan. It's a well-researched, regionally aligned document that offers a balance between improved wireless service and a respect for land use, community aesthetics, as well as public input. It protects neighborhoods in the sense that it will protect single-family residential areas from unchecked infrastructure like towers and antennas. It sets clear guidelines for tower siting, design, permitting process, and the goal is to meet technical needs without sacrificing community character or property values. The community benefits, well, it promotes transparency, public input, as well as strategic equipment placement to reduce visual and environmental impact. It helps us preserve the integrity of Maize neighborhoods while staying connected. While the regional alignment and adopting a regional plan means streamlining the permitting process, consistency with surrounding cities, simpler deployment for providers since wireless networks cross city boundaries, and it helps avoid legal disputes through clear standards for tower placement and design. Support for economic growth where it enhances wireless infrastructure, it attracts businesses, supports remote work, and improves the quality of life. It includes best practices for 5G rollout, future technologies, and public safety and aesthetics. The community values would be that a regional plan emphasizes public transparency, which is key, and citizen engagement, and it aligns with Maize's values and priorities. The next steps we're proposing is a September Planning Commission meeting, the October Planning Commission meeting we'll adopt it then. They've already been subject to this spiel, if you will. It's a cost-effective, technically sound, and community-minded way forward. And in closing, this is more than just a policy. It's a forward-thinking investment in Maize's infrastructure, economy, and quality of life. Are there any questions concerning wireless communication infrastructure?
Noticed highlighted you had something on September the 5th at 11 o'clock. What's that?
That's correct. As I've learned since I've been here, Maize is growing exponentially, and housing clarity needs to be established, if you will. And one of the ways we're going to do that is update our comprehensive plan. A workshop with our contract with Multi-Studio. They're going to have reps down here for that. We'd like to have it on September 5th at 11 to 1 p.m. where lunch will be provided for commissioners, council members, and the mayor and
That's the one
staff
time
members. I'm sorry.
That's the one time I told him I couldn't do it,
Right.
so.
We'd like to record it as best we can and
Okay.
get those members that couldn't attend copies copies of the minutes.
Okay. I'm just gonna be in Omaha. Okay. That sounds perfect.
That'll be here.
Yes, that is correct, sir. Other than that, my report stands on its own. I'll stand for questions.
And for the September 5th, can you send out a calendar invite so that I can put on the calendar?
For the comprehensive plan,
Yeah. Can you-
September 5th from 11 to 1 p.m.
I said,
Yeah,
can you send out a calendar invite?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, thank
Absolutely.
you.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay. If no questions, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, man.
Legal. Ah.
I do have hopefully a very short presentation tonight, and what it's about is our HR policy and a bill that was passed by the legislature in 2025, which is going to cause us to have to amend our existing HR policy. The issue is whistleblowing, and we have what I think is a very good whistleblowing policy as part of our policy. However, the state, in its great wisdom, decided to adopt a whistleblowing policy that they apply to municipalities. And it has some things in it that's going to cause us to amend our policy, and we'll be bringing that to you in a next couple of meetings.
Okay.
But essentially, what this policy does is it prohibits the city from taking disciplinary action against employees who whistleblow. Our policy does too, but the state policy in the legislation does it a little differently. So we're going to have to kind of change our policy on that part of it. Our policy also addresses disciplinary actions that you can take that are not prohibited. For example, if the information the person gives you is false, if the information is disclosed for a corrupt motive, or if the information is confidential or privileged under state or federal law. That's a little different than what we have. So we're going to have to change our policy to do that. The last thing, and this will take a decision on your part or just maybe some direction, but the remedy that the statute gives is a little different than what our remedy is. To a certain point, it's not, because the first disciplinary process that a person can appeal from or contest is to the city itself. But the state policy says two things. If you don't say anything about it, then the employee, and that's not a right under our policy, but the employee has a right to file an action in district court challenging the discipline that was taken against the employee. And if the employee does that, then the court can, this is sort of odd, can award attorney fees to the prevailing side. So if the city would prevail, the employee would have to pay the city's attorney fees. If the employee prevails, then the city or the employee has to pay the city's legal fees. However, the bill goes on to state that the city can avoid going to court directly if the city adopts a policy that has an appeal process internally within the policy. So you would have an appeal process, for example, that would go to the city manager, and the city manager would appoint a neutral person to hear the person's allegations about being disciplined for whistleblowers in violation. And if that occurs, then the person has to go through that administrative process before before a lawsuit can be filed. If they're still dissatisfied with the city's discipline, then under the law, and this is sort of odd too, because it's the only time I know that it's done, but the appeal is not to the district court under what the ordinary way it's brought, but the appeal is under the Kansas Judicial Review Act, which is an act that ordinarily applies to state employees, but it sets up another administrative procedure, or that it takes you directly to district court. I'm sorry, and it's arbitrary, capricious, and unreasonable conduct on the city is the test. If they go directly to court, it's just a burden of proof about whether the discipline should or shouldn't have been given. So you have more deference if you use the second method of appeal, and that's set up the appeal procedure that ends up in under the Kansas Judicial Review Act, and that act is how the court judges whether or not there was a violation of the law. So I guess that's sort of, and we'll bring back a policy that I have one attached that's a very rough draft. And it hadn't been reviewed by staff, but it needs some more review. And we'll bring that back to you when it's ready. And I guess I'd ask for a little direction on which appeal process we should use.
So this is for whistleblowing only. It's not for just,
No, it's
An employ-
for whistleblowing only. That's correct.
because I know the chief has a process. If an officer does something, he goes to an outside independent type.
Yeah, any employee does. They file a grievance.
Right.
So that's not only available for,
In
Police
the
department
past,
employees.
if somebody came to,
so this would be, under the policy, we'd have to draft it so that they would not have a right to a grievance. They would have to follow this policy that's within the HR part of our policies that apply to whistleblowers.
I don't know that we've ever had a whistleblower in the past, have we? Or have we?
Yeah. You've
Have we?
potentially had one that I'm aware of.
Okay.
I don't think anything, it was resolved at the city council level, I believe.
I think you're right. I think we never
That's the
heard
only
about it
one-
until.
That's the only one I know of in the time I've been here.
What does the policy say if the complaint is against the city manager? Then who do they blow the whistle to?
Our current policy says that it goes to the city attorney and the mayor. And if it's the city council, I forget exactly what it is, but it goes somewhere else. If it's the city, the city manager doesn't want to judge the city council.
Yeah.
So it has another process. And that's our current policy that we would keep, that part of our current policy. It's not addressed in the state law.
And my only statement, Tom, is that based on previous supervisories type, I want us to be open if somebody's got an issue with the city of Maize, whistleblower wise. It
And
doesn't
I
get,
think the second approach does that.
Yeah.
The first approach to me, when you say the losing side has to pay attorney fees, that's kind of prevent any employee from filing a case because they're not going to want to pay the city's attorney fees.
I mean, do we even have stated what the city's attorney fees are? Is it so much an hour, or do we?
It's whatever they would be.
determines
If we hired an attorney, that's
Oh, okay.
whatever the attorney.
Somebody other than you, say, if we went to. an outside-
Right. If it's me, it's, it's going to be whatever the prevailing rate is for attorneys
Okay.
in Wichita. So it's going to be, $250 an hour probably.
Okay.
I think I'd like to see them both written out.
Okay.
I
That's
mean,
easy
I
to
hate to
do.
make a bunch of work, but you kind of already have that.
It's just the end where the appeal process would be. So it'd be easy to have
Yeah,
two ends.
yeah, right. You have the core and then A or B at the end.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
But it sounds like the second option's the best, but it'd be good to be able to read it.
Okay. That's what we'll do.
Okay.
That's it.
You good?
I'm good.
All right. Anything else from council for Tom? If not, we'll move to operations.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Attached in your agenda report is your year-to-date treasurer report and your cash and budget position as of the 31st of July. Just a few items I wanted to touch base on. Basically, since the last time we met, we did our purchase policy. We've got all our purchase cards passed out and all the agreements have been signed. So that's fantastic. We received our 2025A temporary note funds, so you'll see a large increase in that Fund 5 if you do look at those reports. Also, in our next meeting, our first meeting in September, you guys, we will present your budget to you again. And in this budget, you will see a new sales tax fund. So since sales tax has passed, we decided it's best to track that revenue by creating its own fund. And so that way the citizens can see that 85% being moved out to streets and that 15% being moved back into general fund to reduce that mill levy. Additionally, two other items I'm working on currently. I'm working with the front desk to review their processes to help them more efficient with their financial transactions they do. And also I am currently researching our community building and the revenue that brings in versus the expenditure it costs for us to keep that up to date.
That's
So,
interesting.
and with that, I will stand for any questions from you guys.
So you're doing a study on the community building?
So when I say study, I'm basically pulling expenditures from the past 3 years, seeing what it costs to upkeep that building and what we bring in.
Really?
So,
What if we don't want to know?
well, it's always good to know the numbers, right? Then you can make your
Yeah.
own decision based on that. Numbers are facts for the most part. So
When do you expect to have that? That's interesting.
probably in October, if I'm being honest. I
Really?
just October, November. I'm just looking at the time that we have to get everything on council reports first the time we present them.
It
So
stays fairly busy up there, doesn't it?
it does, yeah. I
I
think
don't even know what we rent it for.
we rent it for $100 a day,
Maybe that's.
which
how
is
far-
very,
how-
very.
How far back are you going, you say?
I'm going to do 3 years.
3 years? Okay. That's
So that's what.
a fair assessment.
So that's what I will do. And not saying I want any changes or anything at this time. I just think it's just based on some electricity bills I've seen. I just wanted to kind of take a deeper dive into exactly the upkeep of it.
I like
and
it. Thank you.
what we're charging. So
Anything else?
I just want to comment on that. You put a separate fund for the sales tax. I think that's really good.
That was part of the deal. So,
Mhm.
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
excited
Nick stuck his neck out and said that was going to happen. So
and it is, and you will see it next meeting reflected. So awesome.
Nick, do you have anything you want to add to that or add to anything? Or?
I think she's covered most of the things, but the report, I will say that, we have had some requests at the community building to utilize some of the space downstairs, so that'll be part of that analysis. With that at some point too, is improve that space downstairs, maximize some of the revenue. Where that all fits as well, so.
What's
Yeah,
downstairs?
what do we do downstairs?
Just
It's
a
the old-
storage room.
Right now, it's mostly storage. I think that's where.
It's old PD.
Where the council used to meet downstairs.
No.
No, PD.
Upstairs.
I met upstairs, okay.
PD used to have it, didn't they?
PD
Yeah,
did, and
Yeah.
then we did
There's
commodities
still areas
also.
where they're,
We did
where they
the
store
meals
evidence
down
and things.
We did commodities down there,
Yeah.
and it was also a storm shelter.
And Lions
Oh, yeah.
Club, a lot of their stuff's down
Yeah.
there.
Well,
Right now,
their history.
working with the Lions Club to analyze where they end up going. That's another piece that we've received several requests. And we'll see how that all ties in.
Okay. That's a great idea. Thank you.
You want me to present my ops report?
Sure.
I will hit some of the highlights. Oh, sure. I'll hit the ops report and just hit some of the highlights of what's going on. Obviously, as you're aware, we've been working for quite some time on this Raftellus rate review currently, and I expect very soon to have an evaluation of the proposed rate model that was brought to us last meeting. And we've asked them to analyze some of the impacts across categories if we were to go to a different rate structure. And so they hope to bring that to us, so we'll truly know what the impact is based upon some of the recommendations that we'll see from them. Obviously, development's in full swing. I went out with Nick today, and we looked at different sites where they're doing infrastructure development right now. The PNR addition, it's there on Maize Road by between 53rd and 45th, right there would be on the east side. They're well underway for that piece. We drove by Oakmont, where they're working on the second phase of that, well underway there as well. And Cranor Estates is a giant development. It's the one right next to, right across the street on 119th Street from the Heights and Arvada and all those. It would be the one just to the east. But I think you're going to see, as some of these finish up, you'll start to see potentially this year or definitely into next year, you'll start to see some of the building permits that come from that. So we expect to continue to see some of the growth we've seen with the number of infrastructure projects that are happening right now. We also found out that Addis Woods plans to move forward. We expect to get a petition for that. And that's, as you're aware, that's the one on 45th and Tyler. And we didn't know exactly whether that would be delayed based upon some costs, but they've been able to work through some issues, and we expect to see that one move forward as well fairly quickly. Ark Church Water and Sewer, we've gotten a petition to the Ark Church to do that. That essentially will provide water and sewer to the new worship space for the Ark Church, but it does something even bigger. We're going to upsize the size of that water and sewer so we can serve that area further to the west. And so we are, as soon as we get those petitions, we're going to get back up on design and hopefully get going with that. We're just waiting for that at this point. We expect that we met with MKEC to discuss the Arvada development that's there on 119th. We expect that there may be some change in ownership that's happened soon with that, and potentially some change in design and platting for that neighborhood. So we do expect that to come at some point here in the future. Couple other things to hit on. Thanks for those of you that were able to participate both in the Cox Airport's ribbon cutting and the Charlotte Pipe ribbon cutting. I think two really great businesses that have just opened up here in Maize, and it's quite impressive. Those who are able to see it know we've got some good things coming, continue to happen on the industrial side of Maize. So we'll continue to work with that. We are working with a prospect that would like to do an expansion at the industrial park, and you'll get a chance to hear more about that at some point here in the future. And we did host recently the Western Sedgwick County leadership meeting. This started about a quarter ago. We're basically from Maize onto the west, further to the west in Sedgwick County, different communities meeting to talk about how we can work together on things. Regionalism is a huge thing, and we all have to find ways to better work together, to support each other, to look at how we use resources. And I think it's been our second meeting of that group, and it was a good opportunity for a lot of folks to get together and talk about common issues. Obviously, we're excited to talk a little bit about, we're excited that the sales tax was able to get passed. We certainly wish there would have been a little bit higher voter turnout, but the results were very positive for approving the sales tax. It passed by 66.76% margin of approval. That was on the August 5th primary election. We did have voter turnout of about 376 that participated. And here in the month of September, we'll be bringing forward some official actions that the council have to bring to move forward with this. We'll have to send notification to the Kansas Department of Revenue for it to start. It's not scheduled to start till January 1st, elections for that. So we have to do that well in advance so they can notify the vendors and the various businesses that'll have to make changes to their sales tax. So definitely a positive. You can see, interesting to see where we're at this year with housing permits. You see, last year we had 110 single family, 119 duplexes, and 6 commercial. As of today in 2025, we've got 78 single family, 27 duplexes, and 8 commercial. I think you'll continue to see those numbers rise, and we'll have at least a similar year to 2024. And I think that to go back to sales tax, we did order a stealth stat tracker that allows us to track speeds and gather various traffic data. We tried to deploy that before school started. our goal is to get back to those areas and really measure what traffic looks like during the school, now that school's back in session. And we want to be able to provide the best data we can to you as you make decisions how we're going to use that sales tax, those sales tax funds. I mean, obviously, we have a lot of high dollar projects that we'd like to do, and we're going to have to be very selective in what we choose to use that sales tax on. But we want to give you the best data available. And once again, going back to the mapping data that Nick has, our plans are to get some of that data, put it onto a map, and provide that for you to be able to see where you have high traffic numbers. And we want to be able to, when we have to select portions of a project, we want you to have the best data available. So that's what we're going to spend probably the next several months trying to put some of that together. As you're aware, we did put money into the capital budget to start some of the design for different projects, but we want to make sure we're moving forward with the right projects. And so I just want to give you the best data so we know where we start to focus in 2026.
Did you say a cell stat tracker?
It's
As in
called
a what?
Yeah.
Called stealth stat.
Stealth stat.
Yeah.
Not only counts the vehicles, but it also records speeds.
Gotcha.
It can pick up traffic going away from the device and coming toward the device.
Gotcha.
And it's not really visible. People don't typically know it's there, but it allows us to really capture just about any piece of information you might want related to traffic in that area. It'll tell you the day of the week, the time of day, the speeds that you're seeing, the high speeds, the low speeds, the average speeds, things of that nature.
Is that something we own or?
We just purchased one. We've been borrowing some from City of Wichita, but we felt it wasn't a very pricey item. We felt it was important for us to have our own. We could go out and deploy.
We just got one, so we'll just put it where.
We can move it.
Where first?
I'm not, where's it at currently?
Just took it down from 119. We'll be redeploying it tomorrow.
In school started.
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll be redeploying it over on Tyler Road to south of Fifth Street. And it's a joint effort between public works and police.
Interesting.
That covers most everything. We did meet with Colwich and we talked about how we move forward. That relationship between the city of Maize and Colwich, and as we look at where the city of Maize has grown to 135th Street and where we go beyond there. And so we're continuing to have those at some point. I'll probably like to bring some sort of a memorandum of understanding about how Maize continues to grow and that we keep a solid, strong relationship with the city of Colwich. So we'll plan to bring that forward and ask you guys to memorialize that at some point once we are able to get some sort of an agreement. I think that's mostly everything. I did want to report, I didn't have that on the list, so I wanted to, Joe sent me some data on working with our retail consultant and some of the things they reported to us. So let me provide that to you. Any other questions while I'm pulling this up? So as you're aware, Retail Consultants is the company we've worked with that's working with developers and retail businesses to try to see if there's a possible connection between us and them. They've made 20 retail contacts on our behalf, 22 restaurant contacts on our behalf. Ricky Hayes, who's the gentleman that we typically work with, has had conversations on potential lease prospects for future commercial sites. He's had a theater complex that he's had discussions with on a potential developer. So, obviously we have a lot of conversations and hopefully as we continue to have those conversations, we can hit on one or two of those and make that a reality. Ricky spoke with a restaurant chain that has a popular site in Derby and has been in Maize to visit in the past. And so we're continuing those conversations, worked with a developer on a letter of intent for large acreage location in Maize, visited with a local landowner about developer contracts, and had 5 visits with Maize staff on various topics related to economic development. So that's the report I didn't have when I put out my operations report, but I'll stand for any other questions that you might have on anything I didn't talk about.
Guess we're good. Thank you, Nick. We'll move on to council member reports. We'll start with Kevin there at the end. Got anything?
Nope.
Okay. Alex?
Nope.
Jennifer?
Nope.
Jeff?
Just a quick one for me. So I'm attending a meeting here in a couple weeks with a bunch of community foundations, and I learned that the Salina Community Foundation and the Manhattan Community Foundation are like 2 of the most funded community foundations in the state. Salina's total budget, or I don't know exactly what they call it, but it's like $242 million. And Manhattan is like $440 million. That's their endowment. Yeah. Yeah. Thanks. I couldn't catch that word. But anyway, just thought that was, it blew my mind.
That would blow my mind. Yeah.
So
Crazy.
aspirational goals, I guess. I heard we got money in our community foundation's bank account for the first time today. So
Awesome.
yep. I caught the director as he was walking out tonight.
We got 44 bucks.
It's not quite 242 million is my
Got to start somewhere.
I do plan on providing foundation updates, but everything's kind of preliminary at this point, so there's not much point in it as of now, but things are progressing nicely as far as getting things set up.
If you're interested, I can shoot you a note on that and you might be able to attend it if you'd like.
Yeah, that'd be great.
It's just going to be it'll be a Zoom call.
That works even better.
Yeah.
Is that it?
That's it.
Doctor? Good? Mayor's report, real quick, before we go to executive. I learned this weekend that Carl from Maize Hardware is moving away from Maize Hardware. You guys
Yeah.
probably already know that. That's kind of that guy's been a staple of Ace Hardware since I've moved here. I think he started when he was 18, 35 years. So kind of a shocker. Again, Charlotte Pipe, I wanted to thank everybody for going to that. That was a pretty big deal. We had national senators there, and I think every Sedgwick County guy was there, and all of you were pretty much there. So that was cool. Start thinking about, with the tax money that we're going to come in as a council. I think, we'll get input from staff and everything, but we need to decide projects wise from infrastructure what we want as a council. So you need to start thinking about that a little bit. It's not going to happen overnight, but we need to start thinking about our hit parade, so to speak, right? So start thinking about that. And then with regard to Colwich, great meeting as far as I was concerned. They realize some of their restrictions, and they're open to talking to us about that. And the neat thing about it is they want to meet with us more often. So we intend to do that. And so I was very happy with that meeting. And with that, that's all we've got. And now we're going to talk about going into executive session on a couple items.
I would move that the governing body go into executive session to discuss data relating to financial affairs or trade secrets concerning a proposal to expand the facilities of an existing IRB tenant with additional IRBs pursuant to the statutory justification listed in KSA 75-4919B4. The open meeting will resume in this room at Let's go 7:30.
Is that enough time or not enough time?
Yeah, it said 15 minutes.
Okay. All right.
So since we're adjourning to the other room, that'll give us a couple
Oh,
more
sure,
minutes.
that's sure.
Yeah. And then we do have a second executive session behind that, so don't get too excited.
So we're going to go into executive.
Yep, who all is needed?
Myself, Tom,
Okay.
Nobody?
Nobody?
Second.
We have a
Okay.
motion, a second, go into executive. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right.
ISA 75-4319B2 applies to both matters. The meeting will resume in this room at 7:45. Okay.
Got a motion, do I have a second? I have a motion and a second, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right, let's go to executive.
Well, we have to adjourn. I mean, we can do it quickly, but.
We're back from executive session. I would, somebody wants to make a motion to adjourn, I'd appreciate it.
So moved.
Second.
Got a motion, a second to adjourn. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye.